the trustees of the Willits Unified School District is called to order at 4 o'clock. Roll call, Mr. Wilker.
Here.
Mrs. Nunez.
Here.
Mrs. Lampridge.
Here.
Ms. Sickney, absent, and me, Mrs. King, here. So, the board will accept a motion to adopt the agenda.
I suppose we adopt the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
I have questions.
Okay, that was just what I was gonna ask. Do any
Excuse
board
me,
members
Katie.
have comments or questions?
I do, I'd like the, they have their own name. The, you know, all those policies for the board that we're reading. I'd like that pulled. I have a lot of questions for that.
I have some questions as well on some of those.
Pulled and not dealt with?
Pulled and discussed, the first half at any rate. The second half, I'd like to see wait for another month. And on the third half, it would suit me to vote on all of them, but at this minute at least.
Can you tell me which one you're talking, are you talking about the acknowledgement of board policy revision?
Yeah, first reading. It's under 8.
Okay,
4.
okay.
He's talking about acknowledgement of board policy revision, first readings.
Thank you.
It's kind of random.
Oh, it's insane. If you looked at it.
So remember the consent agenda for this one is just the first reading. You approve for reading it.
Right.
Then
So
once
we're
you
not
get-
approving the act.
No, we're not approving. You're approving for reading it.
That's true.
So by not approving anything, that means you don't read it.
And that's fine if we don't read the last half, or if we don't even read the first half, except that we've already probably read at least part of those. And in the past, what ends up happening is that we approve the first reading, and when it comes time to approve the second, it's too late for revisions, and it's too late for this or that, and the best way I can figure to deal with it is to have a chance to look them over, and then only have some of them count for anything, because chances are we've read at least a few. And then the next time, we can read some more. I know that we talked a little about this, but...
Just remember that the next time you may have more on top of what you have.
And
So
that's something else we're going
Keeps
to have
having
to discuss.
we are trying to catch up, so.
No, I remember the whole conversation. It's just that it can't continue to catch up for a year, and it has so far. So we need a little modification, or we're never going to know what we agreed to.
So, the time to discuss any questions you have about the first topics of the first readings is
Mhm.
before the board meeting with the superintendent.
That'd be great, except that, you know, the time lot that we had, we tried to bring some of that up, but there are way more than an hour's worth of questions, including the 10 or 15 or whatever minutes that we spent on the questions about the consent agenda. I don't have just one issue with the consent agenda. I have a number of issues. But this one right now, I have with the acknowledgement of board policy revision first readings. And since I never get them before they become part of the board policy to revise or not, but at least first read, I mean, I don't believe any of us do, I can't take care of it in advance.
Yeah, what helps me a lot is that it's only the green part and the red part that are basically changing. Everything else is...
And that's really good for you, I'm glad. For me, I read the little synopsis of each one, and the places on that tiny bit of information that give me cause for concern or tell me new law.
Right.
Then I go check it with the long thing, and to be perfectly frank, it gives me even more questions. So to start, I'll stick with the synopsis.
So my recommendation is just to go ahead and approve what we have today. You have time to read, and when we do in May, to update the policy, then at time you could say whether or not, discussion of policy or some of it could be postponed at a later point. But at least this, you have a body motion. We can't just divide that in half. It has to be all or none. If you have none, I mean, next month I have to bring it back as a first reading again.
And it'll give you a month to to ask any questions and to,
So we got plenty of time, we just need to move, we need to take action today, so you have allowed to do the first reading, you have plenty of time to read, and then later on we can have discussion.
So nothing will be implemented.
No,
No.
If we
nothing.
say we approve the agenda today, there can still be changes to what's on the agenda today.
correct.
I mean,
And there will be
This
some
is
we
first
can
reading,
discuss
yeah.
now.
Discussions after.
Okay, so as long as we can discuss it and nothing is set in stone, because I have some concerns as well.
This is the first reading, it means that you're aware. It says acknowledgement.
Okay,
You are
Okay.
aware of the policy that is set out there. So you are reading it, next time we bring it back and discuss the policy.
okay.
So this is
I
acknowledgement.
misunderstood then.
Yeah.
I thought that if we were approving it, that everything was set in stone and there wasn't
No.
gonna be any discussion or we weren't allowed to change anything.
Yeah.
If the case is that we can still
Yeah.
do that after that, then I'm okay
Yeah,
with
so
approving the agenda.
this is approving, you acknowledge.
As long as
Yes, yeah.
what you just said is true.
But that's been exactly what we have always done, is acknowledge that we can read it. And unless it's marked somewhere on the agenda where it's not part of the consent agenda, that we do or don't approve it,
so in the
then
sec,
we won't have that chance.
in the second
It'll be just
reading,
like this
it's not
again.
part of the consent agenda, it's a separate item. When
But
it's a
it's
second reading.
all 112 or whatever I counted of them at one time. And that's not at all what I'm
So, but
looking
the
for.
other one would be, we could make it approved as an action item. But for this one, we're proving that you acknowledge you receive it. If you don't accept it, I mean, you never receive it.
Okay,
I mean, everything's postponed again.
okay, and
Okay, well,
I,
we'll make May then our little test case on whether or not this new plan works.
Yeah.
Okay.
then, yeah, I'll second to, you already made the motion to approve it?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
David
We
did,
do.
I'll second.
okay, all in favor? Aye.
Well, not yet. On letter 6, there is, it's not a letter, I'm sorry, it's Roman numeral 6 for letter B. There is another one of the consideration measure, consideration, I guess, of the measure of one bond building fund audit report.
Okay,
I couldn't find, so maybe during the closed session you can show me, I couldn't find where things were, you know, singled out and said, this much money was spent here, this much money was spent there. I read over the part that said this much money has been spent in all. We started with this, we got some extra money, and then we ended up with this, we spent this much of it, and now this is what we're left with. But the only thing I could find completely itemized was the $118,000 that we discussed with the, who is that family, Baudeliers or someone who had a construction company. And they're the ones that did the driveway and at the DO. It was all set up in advance. I was amiss in knowing how far back and how that process went, but I'm fixing that. So what I need to know about is where the other chunks of money went, because 118,000 from 300 and some thousand.
What you could do also on this one here is a consideration measure, again, consideration of fund audit report. I mean, the report was done by a company, and then after that, maybe meeting with Melissa to go over the breakdown of it.
But we have to pay this, I mean,
But we have, this is critical that this is a regular thing that is done on whatever the report is done by the company for the,
that's fine. I want to know where the money was spent.
I don't think the
believe
meeting
it's-
with Melissa would be good to break it down.
So I should just call them and say, hi, I need a breakdown. I can't
Well, you
imagine what
meet
the
with
district
Melissa
can
many
do.
times. I saw you meeting with Melissa. I think there's nothing wrong in going to Melissa and kind of go over the budget, right? She's
No, I
director of
haven't come
finance.
and talked to her.
I think it would be great to do that so that we can have more of a breakdown like any board member as well. So this is like this is a regular
Answers a lot
report.
of questions.
Yeah, I think it would be good for you.
So
to
that
just-
means everyone else here knows the breakdown. It's just me that missed it and should go and talk with her.
No, that's not what
So
I'm
why
saying.
wouldn't-
I'm saying that I've spoken with Melissa, like when I have questions, and she can break it, like, completely down for you.
Melissa in our office, not mine,
Or
in
director of
the
finance.
DO.
who's
Yeah.
also- Yeah, or director of finance. who
Well,
knows
isn't she
all.
coming this evening?
She's coming this evening.
Good. I can mean, I don't, to make it really clear, I don't think it's a good idea for us to decide on things that we don't have complete information for. And when the only thing I could find, and if someone else did a good deal, go ahead and tell me how, the only thing I could find in our warrants that went for the bond was the $118,000 that went for the parking lot at the DO. Now that leaves over almost $200,000 that was spent of bond money. I'm certain we have to pay our bills. I have to trust that the oversight committee really oversighted and knew that what was being spent was agreeable by the bond, because they don't vote or do anything, they're just sort of informed and they go, okay, and that ends that. Well,
This is an audit report.
that's right.
So this company audited how the money was spent,
Mhm.
and this is their report.
Right, and their report needs to either be more detailed, so that you know where the money was spent, or there's an issue that we need to consider with the oversight committee. I would figure that they know specifically where money was spent, or they couldn't have approved it to be spent.
Because it is a bond, an audit report must be performed by them to show you being compliance. Again, I would
No.
say, hold on, I would say, not approving that, we're making ourselves liable with that to the state. Yes, you got money, but you're not willing to approve a report. So how are we supposed to explain ourselves with that?
We explained to them that we don't have a specific report. What we have is a lump sum. We don't get a response or anything from the oversight committee that says, we only meet 3 times a year or whatever it is, and on our last meeting, we approved the expenditure of this amount of money to do these things. Because in reality, when the state looks at your budget and the ways you did things, it's happened to our district already. It really is true that they want more specifics than, I spent $100 or $100,000 or whatever I spent.
So this is my recommendation, because it seems there is unsure about all this. I would say remove that from next month.
It suits me and I appreciate it. I'll have time to speak more specifically with Melissa and find out which routes I should take to make sure that our district receives a transparent budget as opposed to one that
Remove
just
that
says.
to the mayor. So, question,
I really do, for what I do, actually. Do you need more specifics?
Well, I'll give you a tip when I can't right now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, I just have a way you
Well, we're
can
not
find
even
that.
close.
I have a
meeting
way
yet.
that you can find that, and you just go to your warrants, and you do control find, and you look for Fund 21. So if you look in your warrants, there are more payments that are made out of Fund 21. Those are fund dollars.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you're only finding that one invoice, but really there were 2 invoices to Bouvier that was way more than the 120,000 that you're seeing. Yeah, so you need to look through your warrants for Fund 21. I feel like that's the easiest, most understandable way for us to
Okay,
see
well,
those things.
I do what I do through the paper,
Yeah,
and so
maybe
we'll
this-
see what happens.
So all in
But thank you.
favor of the amended agenda of moving item 6 under consent agenda, consideration of Measure I bond building fund audit report to next month? All in favor? Opposed?
Did somebody motion that? Or
Yeah,
do you guys
yeah.
just, did somebody motion to move,
yes.
Yes,
That item-
David did, and,
John motion,
April seconded.
David motion,
Motion
to
first.
remove number 6?
No, we did not.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
no.
didn't hear.
No, just
Okay.
read.
We didn't make a motion to.
Okay,
remove that.
so,
No.
Motion to approve.
so I make the, is there somebody that would like to make the motion that we agree on the agenda as amended to move consideration of Measure I bond building fund audit report to next month?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Joan. Jenny. Second. Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Regular meeting of the Willits Unified School District reconvenes to open session at 5:09. And, our board clerk is not in attendance tonight, so, David, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So the report out of closed session is that the board approved item A, the certificated leave of absence request from 2 employees. Okay, so there's quite a few people here, so, but I only have one comment, public comment. I know, okay. So I will just read the government's norms, the condensed version. We agree to act with dignity, respect differences, build trust, work as a team, engage the public, focus on the success of every student, and work together for the common good. So tonight we have some informational items, and I have, so I have the basketball team as the second. Would you like to go first so that families can?
If you could, yeah. If we could, yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, please.
Perfect.
So we're recognizing the Dr. Grove Middle School 8th grade boys basketball team.
So, good evening. So I only have like half my players here. My name's Chris Hefty. I was the 8th grade boys basketball coach here this year for Metro Grove. And we did something pretty good this year. First of all, we took second in league. So we went down and had a tournament, we took second league. My team was eligible all season. I didn't have one player that was ineligible. We all signed a code of conduct with grades, and you have to do grade checks every day. So that's pretty cool. Secondly, every year, 57 years, there's been a basketball tournament up in Crescent City. This year there were 64 teams. So there's 8 divisions of 8 teams. We went up there, we were in the B2 division. We did something that no basketball team from Willits has done. We took first place. So this will be going to the gym. In the office. I don't know if we're gonna move it later to our trophy case. I don't know, that's up to Shane and them. But yeah, so and then we had 3 of our guys are here right now, they're in soccer, but Mosey Friend, he got MVP for the tournament. And Randy Kisby got all tourney awards, so they got the trophies. And those 3 with getting the all tourney awards, they get a $500 scholarship for college. But they have to have a 3.5 GPA, grade average in high school. In their senior year, they call their Crescent City JCs. They get $500. I think that's kind of cool. It's not much fun. The gym for display, and so next time you guys come, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Good job, boys.
All right, thank you. Perfect.
All right, 6th grade, come on up here. So, I'm Brian Mann. I was the 6th grade Metro Grove basketball coach. I've been coaching these kids for a few years in City League, and they asked me if I would come and coach them at Bechtel. The school was good enough to allow me to do that. Savannah Laughlin came through and saved my life as my assistant. She did an amazing job. But these kids, Ridge Laughlin, Davin Shattuck, Atlas Friend, Austin Crosley. What's Alex's last name? Alex Ayala, Trent O'Farrell, Henry Arkillian, Wade Hosford, Keegan Wagner, Junior Paniagua, Eli Erickson, and Sebastian Ruiz. And this team went 11-0. They were undefeated. As all you that are teachers know, at Bechtel Grove, they check grades every week, and if you have an F, you're ineligible, you can't play. If you have a D, you have to go to tutoring. If you don't go to tutoring, you're ineligible. And if you get in trouble, you're ineligible. We did not have one ineligible all season. So it was an honor to coach these boys. I hope the school allows me to come back next year. I see some great things ahead for the future of this group of athletes, our school district as a whole, and I'm looking forward to Mendocino County being represented at the college level. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's your point.
Get in front, get down. Down in front, down in front.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we go back to the board's receiving. And there's an art presentation.
Right now? Yeah. Okay.
You on?
Hey. Hi, everybody. I'm Carolyn Baycrow, and I'm the art teacher at Willits High School. I've been working there since 2001 when I did my student teaching with Kathleen, who started Art Under 20 in 2000. She'd been looking for a place to have an art show to show what her students were up to, couldn't find anything, and that's when the Art Center opened, and voila, Art Under 20 was born. So here we go. Where's my computer?
That one.
Going to the art
Oh, yeah, hi. Oh, my God, you're in my slideshow, too. There are a lot of you in my slideshow. Okay, here we go. Art Under 20, 2026. So artworks arrive at the Willits Center for the Arts. It's in my car. You see it packed. And guess who mats all that artwork? Yours truly. It's a totally big job. But I'm getting a little help with it this year. My car is loaded, trunk, back seat, front seat. I have a team of artists that help me, and I have to provide for them a very nutritious breakfast. Here are the tools of the trade, and it's much neater now. But last time, that's what it looked like. So we start with a clean slate. So everything's been painted and coal spilled. And my team comes in, and how we start is we just try to organize the artwork. We kind of prop them up against the wall, all over, and we start figuring out how we're going to hang this show. So I've got some old pictures in here and some new ones from last year. Here's Natalie and Katie working as a team to hang an artwork. This is last year. We've got Thomas Alexandra and Gary Martin collaborating on how to hang things and what looks good. Here's Brianna and Tawny. And here's Jessica and Kate. They're hanging the mandalas, and that was a huge ordeal because
I mean, look at, you'll see this next picture. It is like perfect, perfect from the top, perfect from the bottom, perfectly spaced. That was it took them a long time to do that. And I was very proud of them. So that was their wall, and it looked great. They hung it really well. And here we have Leah and Aaliyah having fun and doing a great job hanging artwork as well. They're a team. You gotta work as a team, you know. One person holds it and does the level and the other stands back. Then we have someone to adjust the lights. Here's Brian Pern. Look at little Lexi Ludwig was even helping me put artist statements up at the last minute, right before guests were starting to arrive. And voila, the show is hung, and it looks great. Everything looks beautiful. There's over 150 artists in the show this year. It's always a challenge to see how to fit it all in, but we managed to do it. This is last year's team. I've got, well, me, and then there's Kate, and Leah, and Monica, and Alexandra, Thomas, Kayla, Aaliyah, and Jessica. Now, some of these kids are going to be coming back this year to help me train the younger ones. Last year was a special year because it was our 25th anniversary, and so these are alumni artists that showed their work upstairs in the gallery. We had an alumni show. They're not all here, but some of them are, most of them are. We're missing Ellie and Megan White. Flowers by Annette always gives us with a beautiful bouquet for the opening reception. And there's lots of yummy food to eat at the opening reception, right? Okay, Chris. Cupcakes. And everything is ready and the party's about to begin, okay? Here we go. Now, I wanted to throw this in because it has been a tradition at Willits High School that our musicians perform for us. And this is Mr. Sherrill and some of our, this is the jazz band that used to meet at Zero Period at the high school. Here is our current Zero Period jazz band. And they have promised to perform at Art Under 20, so I wanted to throw them in so you can take a look. It's Aiden Holt, Dalen Richardson, and Mason Hurst, they're all great musicians, and then our very own Mr. Simpson. And, do you recognize this? Oh my God. This is Davina, right here in front. This was such a cool thing because they were doing dance, and they were like these living sculptures, and they had the masks on, and they move around the gallery, and then they posed as still as statues. And they stay there for a couple minutes, and then they get up and they go somewhere else with a whole they were on the stairs, and you know, I just loved that. That was one of my favorite things that ever happened at Art Under 20. And Willits High School alumni enjoy the show. We have Anna Grattan, who happens to be an art teacher at Washington State University. There's Miss Ellie, who teaches 5th grade at Blosser. Then we have Hannah, who lives in Boston right now. She's being a mom. And there's Bumba. He went to the Maritime Academy, and he's a captain sailing the world. Isn't it fun to know about what happened to some of these artists? Okay, come on. And then this is fun. Another alumni shot. This is from that's a class of 2012, I think.
No, that's 2007, that was my graduation.
Oh, go back, sorry.
We could have made you younger.
Okay, so let's get it all in there. I'm sorry that's so slow, sorry to have to go back. Now, my computer's been acting weird. It's just going to the next slide without my permission.
Of my permission.
Okay, so Ethan, there's Sean, what's his name in the back? I think
Max.
Max.
Yes.
Ethan, Brandy, Sean, Max, Morgan, Melissa, Karina, and Colleen. And Karina and Colleen came last year to the art opening. It's fun to see my alumni artists come and see the show. All right. And guess who else comes? It's making me click. Willits High School teachers also like to come and see the show. There's Miss Reese. And look at this one. That is Miss Brian Bolton, the elder, and Eli, who is now a sophomore.
That's a picture that, you know how they recreate, that should be recreated.
Oh, that should be recreated.
But Mr. Bolton, he is a regular at the art opening, and I appreciate that. Okay, isn't this fun? Okay, there's Sophie. Here's some of the students, you know, and there's, did you see Brian Bolton the younger? Did you see him the older? Okay, this is gonna go on its own. So 2000 was the first year, and these are some of the posters that happened over the years. So I took over in 2000, and I started helping in 2001, and then helped ever since, and took over from Kathleen in 2007. And at one point, I think when I took over in 2007, I decided that it should be not just Willits High School, but we should include all the high school age artists from our community. So Sanhedrin, La Vida, the charter school, and now we're kind of even expanded. Laytonville High School hasn't been included, and Potter Valley is this year. There's Noria with her self-portrait. There's Kayla, I got a few. And there's 2016. And then I ran out of time. You're supposed to be able to see that one. And look at who's this year's. Is she sweet or what? And we actually have two posters this year. The left is by Monica Chavez, the right is by Mia Chavez. I just realized. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. End of show.
Beginning of show.
Beginning of show. The show opens on May 1st. It's Friday after school. From 3:30 to 6:30 or 7-ish or
There you go.
And so I do it then in July so kids can just, after school, just walk on down and see the art and have the party with
Did
us.
you say what time?
3:30 or right after school, 3 o'clock. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
It might need to be plugged in.
You're fine.
Does the clicker need to be?
Thank you.
Should be plugged in.
Oh, it's ready. Kathleen was amazing. Thank you.
All right, item D, we're going on to the Bethel Grove Middle School period intervention presentation.
All right, so I wanted to go over our first fifth period intervention. Started at the beginning of trimester 2. We've been seeing some really great success so far. Before I go any further, though, I want to say congratulations to our basketball team. I know most of them walked out. That trophy is amazing. It's been sitting in the office for a few weeks now. It's really cool. And then Caroline and I will very hard. Always love the art show.
Thank
It's
you.
fantastic.
I know, I have a picture.
And I really appreciate artists because I am not good at that form part. So, all right. So I'm going to go over, and then at the end, we're going to hear from some of our teachers. Hopefully this clicker works. There it goes. Okay, that's a big technical jargon, but basically, in a nutshell, what our fifth period is it's an intentional intervention structured to support our students who are struggling in reading and mathematics. So we have some overall support as well as some targeted intervention classes, which we'll be able to hear from a couple of teachers tonight. And the goal is to basically help them improve in both the reading and or mathematics sometimes can't be overstated what confidence can mean in academics as a whole. So why did this come about? So looking at our data from last year, our ELA were 81.2 points below standard. However, I do want to highlight the growth, 19.4 points. So even though we still need a place to go, we are doing fantastic work. And our math is 125.3 points below standard, however, an increase of 15.6 points. And I know this doesn't have to do with it right here, but I want to throw it in. English learner progress is 80.6%. That's actually 34.2% above state average. Fantastic. Our fantastic ELD teacher, Mrs. Midborn, is actually here, so on screen. And I feel really embarrassed that there is a typo there.
Don't point it out.
Don't go there, don't see it, there's nothing there. Don't look behind the curtain. Though we're improving, there's obviously evidence that we need support in reading and mathematics. So, okay, these are supposed to transition, so it's a static image, so that's fine. There's two data points we're going to look at. The first is reading. These are both from the beginning of this school year. This is our Renaissance scores. There's a lot on there, but the part that really helps to focus on is the part that's in, I'm going to call that gold, grade equivalence. And that's basically roughly where the student would fall at a reading grade level. If you want to delve in the Lexile scores, if you won't. So for our 6th graders at the 5th grade, for our 7th graders, 6.5, 8th graders be 7.5, and then same thing for mathematics at the bottom. Now this is averaged overall. We're targeting the students who need additional support, which I'll show some data in a bit that show their growth. So we'll come back to that bit. One piece we're using is Lexia for our reading. So it's Lexia Power Up, and there's a lot on this page, but there's 3 levels of support. The first one is for comprehension. You see that box there. The goal is that we have students move from the foundational into the intermediate, or from the intermediate to advanced. Keep in mind this being used our lower levels, so we want to see them generally move from the foundational to intermediate. So you see for the 7th grade, there's an 18% growth, and this is, remember, since November 12th is when this started. And even that, it took a little bit of time to get this going. And then the next part is focus on grammar. Same thing, and then another would be on word study. So those are the parts within the reading that they work on. And so how is this data used, and just in general, how is our data? So departments meet on a regular basis, they review our data, and basically use it to help support our students. How do we adjust instruction, plan for it, and at the bottom, 5th period builds on that work by providing additional support for students who need extra time and targeted support. So they're still, all these students are still getting core math and ELA, but some students might need some additional support. And so that's where this comes into play for the 5th period. So what's our hope? So obviously we want something out of this. The hope is that we see growth. So more students meeting and exceeding scale scores, which will ultimately be the reading on grade level or above. Improved grade level proficiency. We want our students higher percentage of students performing at or above grade level. Stronger alignment is going to help consistent support built into the school day. So it's not, it just happens, we want to be intentional. It's built into our day. These kids are going to get it by design. And then improve readiness for the next grade level, because every year they're going to go, and we don't want that gap to grow, we want it to close. So that's the goal, is that they go into the next year, both with those skills, but also with confidence as well. So of course the question comes down to how's it going? And I do want to highlight the fact this is from November 12th, so this has not been since the beginning of the school year. So we've had 5th period since then. So the first we're going to look at is reading. So if you look at the top score, remember this is the whole school, and then I'm going to show the specific intervention students. So we have, since the beginning of the school year, our students have gotten 6.4 to 7.2, and this was given in, help me, I think February is when we gave this progress report to. So this data is a little old at this point. We're going to take this again in a few months towards the end of the year to see the growth. So this actually is from the beginning of the year to February. So keep that in mind that this is the data. So they increased almost a grade level as a whole school. And you see some grade levels did. So our 7th grade went from a 6.5 to a 7.5. And then if you look specifically at our intervention students, they increased by over a grade level this time. And keep in mind, this intervention's only been going on for a little over a trimester now, according to this data for a trimester. So fantastic results. Now this is not just the intervention, this is our instruction as a whole. This is not just the intervention classes, but that target intervention is supporting these students who are really entered at a lower level and now we're gonna walk out with some better skills and some more success. And then if we look at the math scores, 5.3 was the average. I know you can look at the specific grade levels there. And then where are they at now? 6.2. So that means they've increased, keep in mind, from the beginning of the school year to February, so not even a full school year, they've increased a grade level. And then if we look at our intervention students, they have stayed in step, but what this is doing, and Ms. Ludwig is going to talk about something she's been noticing, it's not just a score. They're walking out of this with a lot more confidence. So I'm not going to steal her thunder on that, but she's going to talk about it in a minute. And then so this success, and I cannot stress this enough, is because of our amazing staff at Bechtel. Because this is a focus on the intervention, but it's a whole staff focusing on reading and mathematics. And it's, even if you're a social study teacher, even if you're a science teacher, you're still part of this work. And so I really want to give them kudos because they are the ones doing the hard work on a daily basis to support our amazing students. And so, speaking of our fantastic teachers, I wanted to give them an opportunity to talk about what it's like teaching. So we're going to start off with Matthew, who's the one I put first. So we're going to start with our amazing teacher, Miss Cameron Ludwig, and then Megan Hurt will come up for our PLA.
Hi, I'm Miss Ludwig, teach math at Bechtel Grove. I'm here to share a snapshot of the impact of BGMS's intervention classes. More importantly, what we're seeing happen for the students because of them. So as a team of 3 teachers, deciding that we were going to do this math intervention, we took a close look at foundational skills that our students were missing. We asked, what are those most essential skills, and how would we teach that intentionally? From that, we built an intervention class around those targeted skill development, and instead of just reteaching the content that they're learning in their math classes, we focused on giving them tools that they could use in any math class. And now, like we saw on the growth, we're really starting to see that growth. But I want to share about 2 specific students from my classroom because, like, watching them every day, they're great. So the first student came into intervention performing at approximately a 1st grade level. His STAR data from the beginning of 6th grade stayed at a 1st grade level. He has not made big improvements. Maybe at the beginning of the year we had a 2nd grade level. But since starting 2nd trimester, his growth has been dramatic. He increased more than 2 grade levels on that STAR test, that data that you saw there. He was holding us way up there. He was pulling us along. 2 grade levels in 1 trimester. Beyond that, though, the major shift that I saw was in his confidence. At the beginning of the year, he was hesitant to start assignments. He relied heavily on support from me and his other classmates. But recently, I saw him watch another student do something, and he said, "No, you're doing that wrong. Let me help you." And he explained that process of solving a multi-step equation to this other student perfectly. And I was like, good job. And he had the confidence to do it. So watching the skill shift and the confidence shift has been so powerful. The second student that I want to talk about came into intervention with consistently low grades across all their classes. In 6th grade, the highest grade that she earned that year was a B, and it was 1 B over the entire school year. The rest all being D's and F's. In 7th grade, GPA was about 1.5 for the entire school year. And at the beginning of the year, similar patterns, 1st trimester, similar patterns. Attendance rate was about 72%. By the end of the 2nd trimester, her lowest grade was a C, with the rest being A's and B's. Her attendance improved to 82%. More importantly, she started to recognize this growth in herself, and hearing her say, "I can see that my hard work is paying off. Look at my grades, look at my test scores, all of that." It's just as meaningful as the data that I see in the STAR grades. It's just as meaningful as her grades in her report cards. And that's just 2 examples. We're seeing this similar growth across all of the intervention classes. About all of the students in my intervention class, I could tell same stories, same kind of stories about all of them. I just wanted to focus on those two. The work is still evolving, like we're still figuring out, but we're seeing this clearly, that when we intentionally teach these foundational skills, the students don't just improve in the one class, they grow across all of their classes. The intervention is giving them access, not just to content, but to the skills they need to be successful learners. Thank you for letting me talk. And thank you for supporting our students in the work that they are doing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Hurt. I'm the English teacher at Echo Grove, one of them. I'm a single subject credential teacher. And so when I went to school over a decade ago, college, okay, just to clarify. My training was all based on the assumption that the students who come into my room read at a 6th grade level or above. And that has not been the case, right? Anyone who works in education knows, like, not all the kids are going to be reading at grade level. And in recent years, I'm seeing an increase in the numbers of students who are coming in reading far below grade level. And as a teacher and someone who really loves English, it was hard. It was painful to watch them not access the grade level text that we are expected to read and enjoy as a class. So I was trying my best to do my own research. How do I teach foundational skills? I don't remember. I read really well, not to brag on myself. I'm a good reader. So I've forgotten all the skills, and I didn't know how to help these kids in my regular classes. And so with this 5th period intervention, I got to pull the lowest 7th graders of the group. Not all of them. I want more. I want to keep doing this and can keep seeing the success. And I got to really focus on them and give them some small group one-on-one time. You guys, the district was kind enough to provide Lexia, that program that Sheen had screenshots of up there. And with Lexia, where it assesses students across 3 strands: word study, grammar, and comprehension. And it delivers instruction to them in very short, manageable lessons. So they're moving through it pretty quickly, which gives them a sense of success. When I'm filtering the room and sitting down helping them work through a unit, I find myself relearning those skills. And my daughter is a 5-year-old kindergartner. She's learning to read. And so when we sit down to read at home, I go, oh, I can help you now. I know what a blend is. So it's really, really helped me and my students. The kids in my class are we call them frequent flyers to the office, okay? They are not the most enthusiastic people about school. They're characters, okay? I love them dearly, but class is not their strong suit. And in this time that they've been coming to my room for 5th period, I've seen a change in a lot of them, a change for the better, okay? A lot of them face challenges with behavior, attendance, and tardiness. And I truly believe that some of these issues stem from a lack of confidence in their academic abilities, namely reading, in all their classes. I'm seeing them become very, very competitive, and I've leaned into it. Each day, they are trying to answer the most amount of questions correctly to earn the highest streak. The highest streak earner gets a piece of candy. They'll do anything for the skills. They really will. They'll even ask me to go around the class, mid-class, and say, who has the highest streak? And so I'll go around, look at all their screens, and I'll go, okay, well, the highest streak is 50. And they'll immediately just go, like, it's amazing. It's awesome. Because the class is small, the students also feel comfortable taking risks. Okay? They're not afraid to shout out answers when we do small group instruction. I have one student who, in other classes, he's the nonchalant, cool guy. He won't say anything in my other general ed class. But in 5th period, every time he gets an answer right, he goes, let's go! And the others go, yeah! So it's really fun. Another student who has had significant significant challenges behaviorally and academically. She was recently moved from RSP classes to my regular general ed ELA class, and she has fifth period with me. She is still asking me for help a lot, and so I'll sit with her and I'll walk her through a couple questions, and then every day once she gets it, she goes, "This hurt, I've got this, watch me cook," and she'll do it. She'll do it. The impact is carrying over to other classes, like Ms. Ludwig said. I'm seeing them improve in their other classes. I'm seeing that their frequent flyer card might be revoked soon. I'm hoping. I'm trying. You're not understanding. I'm hoping they won't get as many referrals. That's what I'm used to talking in front of kids. The other day, I did overhear one of the kids telling other students about Lexia, and they go, I wanna do Lexia. That sounds cool. And at times, we get to celebrate small successes. They earn certificates when they power up in different skills in the different strands. They get a little certificate I just printed on the colored paper, and I just give a one-on-one time with them. And they are so pleased to get that. They take it home to their family. I try to remind them that if they stay focused now, they won't be stuck in this class again next year. Like, let's get you out. And often they go, well, I don't want to leave. I like Lexia. And they like that they're feeling capable and confident. We're making slow and steady progress. It's not sunshine and rainbows every day, especially with that group of kids. But I'm so grateful for this opportunity to actually help them feel successful and to have a tool that helps me build those foundational skills and hopefully get them up to grade level. I just checked our star reading scores. At the beginning of the year, most of my students in this class were reading between third and fifth grade level. Now, 5 of them are at or above grade level.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mic drop. It's great to be able to come and talk about positives and the good things going on. And I cannot stress enough, programs don't teach kids. Curriculum doesn't teach kids. Our amazing teachers teach kids. And so, in closing, I hope, as you walk away, if nothing else here, there are great things happening at Bechtel Grove. And I would like us to acknowledge our fantastic teachers, not just at Bechtel Grove, but at all sites. So, thank you very much.
So where do the kids go during fifth period who do not need remedial help?
So we have various other supports. Some students are receiving electives during that time because they may not be able to receive it in the normal schedule due to possibly an ELD or an IP or other reasons. So that's one way so that they can still get an extension of learning. We have some students who need some additional movement. So there's other things like some PE type aspects embedded in there, as well as other accelerated aspects. So in a nutshell, that's it. If you'd like to know more, I'd be happy you can come over to the site and we can take you on a walk.
Okay, great. It sounds like it would be hard to schedule all these different needs during that, but maybe not.
I mean, yes, but it's worth it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
obviously it is.
That was a good answer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope y'all will work with me.
Thank you.
I hope you guys realize the impact you're making on these kids. Helping them and giving them the confidence they need, that's amazing. I can't even begin to share my gratitude, that's awesome. You guys should be super proud of yourselves. Thank you. Well, them too, but you guys are laying the foundation. You're the one giving them the confidence and helping them, so you guys should be super proud of yourselves. That's amazing. Thank you.
So it's now time for a 5-minute break. Thank you a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have, I'm sorry, April's not back. Well, I'll start, the student board representative is not here because she's attending a college orientation, so she asked,
Sorry.
so this is Amelia's. I had asked April to be.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well and had a restful spring break. I will keep this short and sweet. The drama class had a very successful turnout all 3 days of their Mean Girls play. The 2026 show sung and danced its way into the history of WHS Productions. The first annual Sadie Hawkins dance is this Saturday. Senior hoodies arrived this Wednesday and are now being passed out. Saw them today. They're amazing. We're looking forward to being able to wear them to our senior trip to Santa's Cruise. That is all. Have a good evening.
So now do you want to do your board comments?
Sure, might as well. So I wasn't at the last board meeting. I had a medical thing that happened, so I apologize for my absence. This last month, I was able to meet with all the administrators, either by phone or in person. I want to thank all of you guys for taking the time to meet with me and answer my questions. Not a lot. I've been going to the schools, but I've been really, really busy with Sober Grad. We are having our annual drive-through tri-tip dinner tomorrow night, so I've been at the high school scrubbing potatoes since about 1 o'clock. I picked up 13 cases of potatoes. Cattlemen's in Santa Rosa donates to us every year. This year we did have to raise the price to 70 instead of 65, but tri-tip has gone up. So we have a bunch of kids that that's what I was late for. They just messaged me to let me know I don't have to go back there after this. Everything got done, so woo, get to go home. Hopefully, if you didn't get a ticket, we do have about 20 left that we have to sell tomorrow. Not worried, we sell out probably an hour before it starts anyways. Sober Grad right now is on track. We started off really slow. This class was really hard to get motivated to volunteer, to show up. But we're there. Our poker tournament, we raised about $13,000. Tri-Tip usually brings in about 12. I mean, for people that don't know, Sober Grad, we have to raise about $43,000 throughout the year to put Sober Grad on. So yeah, we're really, really excited. I don't mean to lean really heavy on that, but that's what basically my last 3 weeks of my life have been about. Yeah, I look forward to things calming down and having a couple weeks where I can focus more on going into the schools and stuff. Blosser is my assigned school, so I've been spending a lot of time there, trying to be there every Wednesday morning to talk with staff and just kind of hang out, and so that's been really nice. Other than that, I enjoyed my spring break with all of my kids home and was really excited for them to go back to school. But yeah, other than that, everything's just moving along, and I look forward to continuing what I'm doing.
Paula, how about you?
I'd be glad to. I just lost something I want to read to you. I've lost 2 things now, it's getting better. I don't need to stand up. Okay.
Oh, you can.
The congratulations I want to send out are the ones that go to all of the athletes naturally, and their teachers and their families and their coaches more than anything. But Amelia and her wrestling things, she did outstanding thanks to her coach and the whole routine. I was going to show you the pictures, but they keep jumping around, which is either my fault for not having that talent or the phone's fault. And I prefer yelling at the phone. The other thing is, we had some students who didn't get to know that they need to tell their coaches to ask to come here. But one of them is a girl named Ella Randrup. Those of you who've been around a while remember Mr. Randrup. She was first out of 8 in a track and field event that just happened 3 or 2 weeks ago, I'm not certain, but a while back. And she was 11th out of 500 in another track and field event, which is a really big deal because Willits hasn't been the top of the track and field teams for a while. They also have tennis, and their coach's name is Christy, and I can't remember her last name. But how is it? Oh, Keller, I should remember that. Nonetheless, she is really for my way of thinking and watching and getting to know her, a major motivator. I never saw someone who can just take someone who says, I don't like getting out of my chair, to running in tennis and being, and I know this girl, her name is Anna Gomez, and she says exactly what I say. No, I could sit here and watch, you know. But instead, she got her into tennis. She ranked first in private or singles tennis playing. And then her and her partner, whose name I forgot, those two girls made first in their tennis, what do they call it, meets or doubles. You can tell I'm really into that. Okay, thank you, thank you. And so they did excellently. And it's just a real big deal because tennis almost never gets its, you know, big show of, whoa, great sport, let's go do it. And it worked out really well for her. So I'm really impressed. She always gets good grades, but she's kind of a typical, yeah, I study, I don't need to run around. Well, she ran and did very, very well. So that was a big deal. The basketball players are gone, but they've really been working. It's good. Bechtel Grove truly is just stepping itself up into the mainstream of really nice compliments, as opposed to, oh gosh, should I go to Bechtel? Yes, you should. It really, really is doing well. And anyone I missed, I'm sorry, but those I really was able to focus on, and they did very, very well. Speaking of which, by the way, thank you very much, Shane, for a variety of reasons, but in particular, I'm a major proponent for English language learners, and I'm pretty sure I made really clear. I was really crushed when I learned that the scores jumped to 90-some%, and we're going to erase those programs. Good idea. And then you came in, and they didn't get erased. They did get modified, but they did really good again this year. You know, and that's, in my mind, exactly what happens when you put your time and interest into something that has plenty of room for growth and makes it if it just has support. And that comes from your office in Lorenzo's, and I, more than you can imagine, really, really do appreciate that you have done so much hard work. Especially sometimes when people tell you that just leave them in their regular classes, they're fine, you know. Well, they're fine if you want to talk about who wants to run around the classroom twice, but it has nothing to do with their academics, and this is a mark of their improved academics. Also, Kenneth, I owe you, I used up over an hour of your time that day, and I just couldn't get clear what I needed to learn, and what are 20 explanations? Anyway, I did get a whole story on what to do when a kid needs an alternative to the high school, but does not believe they need an alternative to the high school, and really wants to just stay there, and you modify the world to suit their needs, you know, and that's a real tough one. It's tougher when it's family, so it was really good that you were patient and took care of that. I truly do. Our upper grades are really doing well, and I'm a real pro kinder or smaller, maybe 7-year-olds, but it's nice to see that the upper grades don't take what used to be my really important little kids and turn them into running in the streets. They're learning and they're really, really doing well. I also had some things that, you know, I need to read you something about Mr. Bowles and his sports dinners and things like that. I'm not exactly sure, except that I kind of come from the club that says, oh, sports are really nifty. I really like them when they're on TV and on the couch, you know. And there are a couple sports that I like and I'll go watch, but Mr. Bowles has a whole lot to do, as you all know from last month, with all the wrestling and stuff. And I just, you know, I can't make this fun-filled film work. But there was a whole deal about him from the sports place that I thought I had come up. And I may have to embarrass myself and do it when you're all finished and read it to your, it's NYS or something. What is the name of it? Oh, well, you never
More nervous.
It has to.
Oh, NC.
And that's what it is. Okay, and they wrote a huge letter about how outstanding Willits is as a whole, and how their coaches, in particular Mr. Bowles, manages to bring those kids in, and regardless of their previous skills, take them all the way to the top. They are always #1, and And now when people go, oh, Willits is here, and then they wait and they go, oh, they're number one again. You know, it's not like they're near as excited as they should be, but anyway, if I find it before it's 9 o'clock or something tonight, I'll be sure. I'm sorry. I received this from 3 people, if you can believe that, and you'd think 3 times I'd find it. But like I said, technology and I are not close. Okay. I found it though. See, when I fuss and carry on, things work better. And I will stand up just because it's a tiny picture and you can't see it. But what it talks about is shout out to the Willits wrestling community for going above and beyond at the NCS Division III Wrestling Championships. When they learned there was no podium available for the tournament, team captains, and this is our student board member, by the way, Amelia Vasquez Ocean, sorry. And Mr. Brian Bolts took the initiative, rallying teammates, families, etc. in the community to build one just days before the event. Sounds bigger than it is because he does have a workshop. Nonetheless, along the way, adversity struck when part of the podium was lost and damaged in transit, but in a true team fashion, they found one. Anyway, it's the incredible effort in a testament to leadership, resilience, and community pride. This is what high school athletics are all about, and I do really have to believe that. Excuse me.
David?
Okay, well, anyway, I was able to make a few school visits since our last board meeting, including an afternoon up at Sherwood School, where they were able to squeeze in a classroom observation, a staff meeting, and a site council meeting. The site council meeting had an interesting conversation about rebranding Sherwood School as a STEAM school, and I didn't, there's a lot of acronyms, and this is a new one on these, but anyway, if you're unfamiliar with the acronym, it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. The site council decided to purchase some very cool high-tech Lego kits, which will provide students lots of project-based learning activities and support the new STEM curriculum. And I don't know if you guys remember Lego as a kid. It's basically Lego with computers attached to it. Okay, at Sanhedrin, I sat in on a staff meeting that was dedicated entirely to preparing for the CAP testing. It's a long, complicated process with dozens of different accommodations available to students with IEPs or 504 plans. Scheduling the test is also a challenge, particularly for the students on independent study through New Horizons, who typically may only see their teacher once a week. Finally, while parents can sign a waiver allowing their children to opt out, Sanhedrin will receive a score of 0 if they have less than 95% of the eligible students taking the test. And actually, that's true of all the school sites. You have to have, the vast majority of kids take the test for it. Basically, you get punished for it. Okay, last school site visit I'll mention was at Bechtel Grove Middle School, where I was able to observe the 5th period intervention classes in math and reading, which you've all heard about. Both classes were capped at only 15 students, had a structure that allowed stronger students to work at their own pace, provided small group instruction for the students who needed more support. Perhaps most importantly, the rooms were calm, the students were on task, and the teachers could focus on teaching. That was mine.
Thank you. I hope everyone had a wonderful week off. And Mother Nature didn't cooperate for lots of outdoor time. There was lots of rain, but we needed the rain. So after a very dry March, so I think that March and April have switched places this year. So anyway, I hope you have a good restful week off. I recently spent some time visiting 3 English classes at the high school. I observed some wonderful teaching. The students were engaged and working well with others. There was a minimum of digital use and a lot of student-to-teacher and student-to-student interaction, which is what I really like to see. I was really impressed. Thank you to Amanda Holt, Katrina Hall, and Juliana Aguilar for being so welcoming. I plan to observe some other classes soon, working my way through the curriculum, which I know has changed a lot since I retired. So I decided to, like I did with special ed, is realizing that special ed wasn't like it was when I retired, and so I'm trying to familiarize myself more with the curriculum in high school. I've been able to attend a couple of the Willits High School baseball games. I have to tell you about my grandson. He turned 17 on the day that they had a baseball game, and he was the pitcher. And he loves baseball, he lives for baseball. Anyway, he pitched the game and pitched 6 shutout innings on his 17th birthday.
Wow.
For himself. So, anyway, it always brings me pleasure to sit outside of baseball games in the springtime with fellow community members, watching our athletes excel. The district is now slightly above the 3% minimum reserve. I would like to see the district move forward to develop a fiscal recovery plan. I would like to see that happening. And I also want to thank the district administrators, which I didn't do when it came as part of the informational items. I would read all of your, what you share with the board, and it really helps me to understand what's going on in the district. I really appreciate your efforts to communicate to the board. So that's all from me. So now we move on to CSEA.
Okay.
All right, hello everyone, I'm Justin Walker. I'm proud to serve as the CSEA Vice President for Chapter 261. I had a nice long speech here that I was planning on reading out, but I think I'm going to actually throw this away and just kind of speak from the heart. And the first thing that CSEA would like to do is we'd like to take a moment to recognize the staff members that are no longer going to be with us. And I know that sounds morbid, I don't mean it to sound like an obituary, but we do have quite a few folks that are going to be missing, so please just bear with me while I just read out this list of names. And so the first one is going to be a certificated layoff. That's going to be Lisa Duncan. She was district-wide. We have 2 certificated resignations. That'll be Alexander Kramer from the high school and Devin Jones from Brookside. Great folks, and sorry to see them go. And then we have 2 retirements. And so that's a little bit happier. And so Samantha Arkelian from Blosserling and Ms. Rowland from Blosserling as well will be retiring from us. On the CSEA side, we have 2 classified resignations. Miranda Wick and Jesus Martinez will be moving on to Greenwood Pastures. I know with Jesus, he's going to be working with CHP, and so bigger and better things for him. And then there are quite a number. I'm just going to read off the layoffs here. Now, some of these folks are moving into other positions, but I'm just going to, in honor of all of them, I'm just going to list them. Okay. And so we have Blanca Carrillo from. She was technically district-wide, but I know worked out of the high school a lot. We have Francisco Chavez, also district-wide, but worked out of BGMS. Jasmine Duarte, she was out of Brookside. Crystal Duncan is going to be stepping down from the transportation lead to be just driving with us now. Carolina Gutierrez, one of our bilingual family liaisons, generally at Brookside, but was classified as district-wide, will be leading us. Jacqueline Hertz, the elementary therapist, will be leading us in June. Katie Gray, the vocational services coordinator assistant at the high school, will be leading us in June. And Jonathan Sandbeck, an instructional assistant at Sherwood, left us, looks like March 31st. We do have 2 new hires, and so we are having a lot of folks heading out, but we do have a couple folks heading in. Taylor Pardue will be the campus supervisor at Becker Grove Middle School. That was as of March 2nd. And Jasmine Ubayas Canales, forgive me, I probably butchered that. She'll be the student intervention tech over at Brookside Elementary. And so these were all people that they all showed up early, they all stayed late. They solved problems quietly, they supported teachers, some of them were teachers. They supported students and entire school sites in ways that were often unseen, but were always felt. It is that time of year where we always say goodbye to a lot of really good folks. And so I just want to make sure, there's been a lot of lighthearted things here tonight, but I want to make sure that, there's a somber moment for them to remember, the kind of people that get us on the path that we are today. All of those folks, are deserving, and I hate to see them go, and I hate the circumstances. But we need to make sure that that we show that they matter. And the way we can do that is that, by saying clearly that they will be remembered. On the other movement side, we need to say congratulations to Erica Buzzard. She will be moving into a DMOP. She has moved into a DMOP position, so she'll be helping Rick in the maintenance position now. And congratulations to Trevor Mueller. He was up at Sherwood, and he will be the secretary of BGMS. He's already in that position, but since the last board meeting. And now that I'm moving on from the actual personnel stuff, what I'd like to say, CSEA deeply believes that the classified staff and teachers are all a part of one team, and when one group is affected, the impact is felt across the entire system. which, it's very important that moving forward, when conversations are happening about staffing, about resources, about planning, they should happen with everybody that's involved. A lot of the CSA folks, they don't get a voice here at this podium. And a lot of them, if you look at the numbers here, CSA folks are very outnumbered here. And so I just want to make sure that we, are advocating for them, and, that when we collaborate, we make better decisions, when we share information, we build trust amongst the different units, and when we move forward together, we can create a stability that lasts. And so I'd like to call on the district, this board, and everybody here to celebrate CSA Appreciation Week. That's actually coming up. That'll be from May 17th to May 24th. I hope the district would engage in recognizing the contributions that our CSEA staff, they transport our kids, they feed our kids, they keep us safe, they fix the computers, and CSEA believes appreciation is something that lives not just in words that are said, but in how we move forward together with respect, communication, and inclusion. And then one last plug that I have to make, just because it is scam season, and so I'd just like to say that please watch your emails. From the last right, exactly what I'm talking about, folks. And so if Mr. Baker needs to get your phone number, he is not going to be but just anyone who has their name on the website, honestly, is a target for this. And so especially the board, especially Mr. Baker, and especially the administrators, you guys are going to be directly targeted. And as things dust up internationally, I'll just say, those attacks are going to become more targeted. And so they target things like schools. They target the everyday people because, that sense of urgency that is in that email is designed to trap you to click that link and to have that spear phishing email, which is what they call it when it's targeted like that, to steal the information. And ultimately, we're all here for the same purpose. Everybody in this room wants the same thing, to keep our kids safe, to keep the staff safe, and to just provide for this community to the best of our abilities. So I know we haven't had CSA comments in a while, but I promise not to keep them so long. Okay. All right. Thank you guys.
Okay, Mr. Bold, WTA.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Excellent job. I was going to make a joke about that you wouldn't know from Jamaica. It wasn't that bad, but I did get one from you. I could tell it wasn't from you. And I think, and in like 10 minutes, actually, it was fixed. Whereas
He left already. Oh.
Yeah.
thank you. It was like boom, like on a Sunday or something.
We're on it. We're on it.
Good job.
24/7.
So I'll do anything that's a repeat, I'll try to make it super short, but sports are doing really, really well. Softball's on a roll. I think they're undefeated in league right now. Baseball, you spoke of, we had an almost no-hitter with Corey Rocky, had a 15-1 game, right? And they were ahead so much in the, right, normally if it's a 10-run roll, it would be a 15-1, right? But he was so far ahead in the fourth inning that we got all the way to 15 in the fifth inning before they called it, and one person squeaked in. So anyway, a lot of good baseball happening. They just got a 6-1 win 2 days ago. So I would say our current star of spring sports, besides softball being undefeated, is our track team. They've gone from like 4 or 5 kids on the team to 17 right now. And every single meet since they started, like 95% of the kids have been putting out personal records. Boom, boom, boom. And so we've got just a tremendous conversation happening at lunch today. About to talk with 3 or 4 of these athletes that are coming in, talking about if I could get a little bit stronger, I could take first, and all these things. It's a great conversation. And Mr. Peterson is 30 feet away from me, and so I talk a lot of track. Usually I don't talk a lot of wrestling, but now I talk a lot of track at lunch with Mr. Peterson. So I appreciate all his efforts as a head track coach. But we also have Mr. Dunaway, who's assisting, and Mr. Marani, who's assisting me on a regular basis. So thank you to that team of coaches helping one of our teams be successful. Let's see. Eligibility just occurred yesterday, so I've been on my computer on and off whenever I'm not keeping people's fingers from getting cut off. We actually have an increase of eligible students right now, and of the 7 or 8 that were not quite eligible, a conversation with our coach, and then a coach's conversation with them, and then their conversation with their teachers got them caught up, and that's a learning experience in itself. And so I'm proud of them, maybe not the proactive part of them, but the reactive part of them, and our goal is to get them more proactive for those kids. And so was one class away from finishing their CTE pathway. And it's a dual enrollment class, and so I can't see their grade as an AD or as a teacher even, because of a lot of different rules. And so they have to show me their grades so I can clarify. And really, their grades were fantastic, except I need to make sure they didn't have an F. They may or may not have an F when they showed me. So I had a conversation, is it okay if I talk to your teacher? Yes, it's okay. And so that person was gonna drop the class. That would have kept them from getting their pathway completed. It would have kept them from being eligible because it was their fourth class and they need 4 to compete. And so we were able to have a dialogue between the three of us and the administrators. That person ultimately has an incomplete right now. Gives them the time to make up the grades that they don't have on target and stay in sports and complete their pathway. And that's the kind of learning curve that we need kids to do, right? That's being an adult and learning how to be an adult. And they're right there at the edge of graduating from Willits High School. And now they're going to complete their season, they're going to complete their pathway, and they're going to realize it's not the end of the world if they need to have a little hiccup in their life. So I'm really proud of that person, but it's proof in the pudding that it's worth checking and holding boundaries for student athletes. So I think as the dust settled, that's that one, we had one athlete they were waiting on, and that's them. Everybody else within the week has stayed or become eligible. So I'm excited about that. Let's see here. On a tech note, I advise the district to do some checks specifically in our where do we have plays? What's the word? Auditorium. Thank you. That's the word. It's a big word, lots of syllables. Our auditorium has had a tremendously bad history of tech problems. We've not been able to take ASVAB tests. We've had problems with play. We've had problems with presentations. And it's always one thing after another. We're like, oh yeah, we should test it. And we didn't. And now it doesn't work. And so that's really a big one that I would say needs to happen. And I would expand that to making sure that our tech is functioning everywhere we're taking tests, STAR tests at the high school. Proactive would be my word of choice for STAR tests with our technology. And I'm speaking of the high school. I can't speak for the other sites, but definitely the high school. Let's see. Oh, I got that one. Okay, good. Go on to negotiations update. We met last Monday, or like 3 days ago, after a 3.5-month hiatus. We had a good conversation, and the district has agreed to share their P2 data and has a new improved date of May 6th. It was going to be pushed all the way to May 27th, which would have been like 9 days before school was over, which was too far. So I'm glad we have a new date of May 6th, and we've agreed to have some communication back and forth between now and then, which I think will be positive as well. Some other concerns I have tonight with what's on the agenda. We have a new grading policy that you hopefully all looked at and considered. Some of the highlights of that are moving from a 260 down to 220 for a graduation requirement. And part of that is the reality that we're moving from trimesters to semesters. The outcome of that, though, is you've got 40 credits that kids no longer have an opportunity to do. So it's drastically limiting our students' ability to broaden their horizons at Willits High School, in my opinion. It drastically decreases their ability to have 2 pathways. That's going to be nearly impossible. And I spoke with a few people about the scheduling of it, and in a perfect world, if we could just make a magic wand and the schedule is perfect, and you didn't get any Fs or have to repeat any classes, you might be able to get 2 pathways. The reality, of course, is that the schedule is not going to line up for every single kid in what they want. And so, if they have all their grades and they're on target and they don't backtrack, they will be able to complete a pathway, which historically we've had kids do 2 and 3 with the trimester system. We don't have a plan, in my opinion, to help kids that have failed. So if you fail in English as a freshman, you are going to keep taking English all year. And you might fail first semester, you might pass second semester, and then you could go, if you're a freshman only, you could go to summer school, get on Bright Thinker, and spend 13 days, the last summer was 13 days, and magically have an A- or
if I had one thing to say tonight, it's we need resources for our kids that are not passing, and our summer school program is not functioning as a resource. It's functioning as a worn-out thing. Let's see here, that was a fun one. The last thing I'd say about that is if we have a year of failure, if somebody fails in English or math or science, and by the way, we have 160-ish 8th graders that are going to become freshmen next year, which we've never had that many since like the early 2000s. I think we had some numbers like that since the last time we had that many. And so I believe, tragically, that they won't all pass their first English, math, or science class. And if they do that twice, their freshman and sophomore years, they're now taking 2 Englishes or 2 maths or 2 sciences, and they've now lost their opportunity to take CTE pathways or electives or all the other things that they actually might want to come to school for. Because it's probably not what they failed, is why they're coming to school, right? Somebody did a great job of describing our characters. We have characters, right?
Yeah.
It's frequent flyers, right? And those frequent flyers are coming to high school. So we want them to fly right, right? We want them to fly right, but they're gonna need some extra landing gear, and they're gonna need some better wings, perhaps. Okay, let's see. Some other concerns, we have not flown fall sports right now, as of yet. That is something that usually flies in the fall, in March, so that we can offer it to the staff. And then once the staff has had their pick of it, we can then offer it to the community. So right now, we don't have a soccer coach, we don't have a soccer coach, we don't have a cross-country coach, we don't officially have football coaches at all. And so it takes a week to fly in-house, and then it takes, after that, we can open it up to the world. And after that, we can get coaches. And so we're like 2 months behind the ball on that one. And the people that really are affected right now are soccer, right? We don't have a boys soccer coach, we don't officially have a girls soccer coach. And last year was the same story, we had a hard time finding them. We need to be way more proactive about getting our coaches. Our football needs to get their head coaches so we can fill in all the support coaches, and we're behind the 8 ball on that. We have not flown MTS counseling position. So that position is vacating at the end of this year. It is one of the things I've been standing right here for the last 6 years talking about, how much we need support for our kids, emotional support. That position is that support, and it's not being flown. And we've known that it's open for 4.5, 5 weeks. And a lot of the ones have been flown, but changed out. So I'm not sure what the story is on that. We still are not flying a full-time music position at the high school. I believe that it's a fantastic thing. Well, I sure.
I thought we were.
We have a 0 period, and that is great for the kids that have folks that can get them up in the morning and get them to 0 period. But I'm afraid that it is not an equity issue where you can't get everybody to that period. All the kids that want to take that or might want to take that have 0 opportunity to get there. So I think it's an equity issue, that 0 period. Despite that, I think it's fantastic we're doing it. I'm not downing. It's just, it doesn't create a fair environment for all of our staff, or all of our students, to meet their needs, or their open-mindedness, if you will. Okay. Bright Thinker this year has cost us $29,000. It's 107 students that are on there, which of course my union hat says, that's 107 kids, that's probably 2 or 3 staff members that aren't having a job because we're having a computer in front of them instead, that they can complete an entire semester in 7 days. So you need, as a district lead, to look at Bright Thinker. Come in, when you come in, talk to other kids that have been on Bright Thinker. Ask them to show you how fast they can complete Bright Thinker and get an honest opinion of if that program is what we're here for, which is education, or if it's here to meet dashboard requirements. Those are 2 very different things. They should be working together. They're not currently. We spent $32,500. I don't know if it's grant funded or if it's out of our general fund, but we have admin coaches that $32,500 for that, and I don't know what that actually looks like. We spent our days for PD as teachers doing the Keenan trainings as a kind of a balance of where the funding's been going. And we also, of course, don't have our poll that we were discussing earlier in the year. On a positive note, excited about our back to school night format. It's a complete change from historical of drudgery of bells and kind of the with Peanuts version of what we had to do. And we were doing a celebration of students. And so I want to commend Mr. Kenneth Mansfield for bringing that ideas to us and allowing us to get excited about it. It's going to involve the community. It's highlighting our CTE pathways, and our A through G pathways, and our opportunities that students have at our high school, which is good. We want our parents to come. We're going to feed people. Those are all great things, and that is the kind of community networking that we need. And so I applaud our administration on that. Thank you, Mr. Mansfield. The CTE, some of the CTE pathways chose to go to the middle school, some chose to let the middle school come to them. Mr. Peterson and I had a fantastic 2 days at Metro Middle School. It was awesome. My first teaching jobs were in middle school, so I was like, back to my youth in teaching. And it was a lot of fun. I watched people change from, I'm not going to do this, and we actually got cussed out by one of our students in the beginning. We all ignored well, and that person was, at the end, shooting peanut M&Ms across the yard with catapults, to get simple. And so it was a win by everybody, including the Ravens. They were fantastic. Nothing. We went in to build the next round, and there was nothing left. And all the Ravens were like, next round, please. So it was fun, and I think we shot some of that. We shot some of the teachers there, but only one hit. The last, I was going to put a plug in for the Tri-Tip dinner, so thank you for all the work you do about Sober Grad. There's been a lot of stuff in the news, local stuff, where we've had deaths and sadnesses all around drunk driving and what that brings to our youth. And so I've been, my whole career at Laytonville, that was a big focus of keeping people sober and safe. And we drove all the way to Ukiah from Laytonville to make sure we were sober and safe. And so, and prizes and all that. So it's a win-win-win for everybody, and I greatly appreciate all that goes into it. I know it's not just the little, just ask people for money. It's thousands and more things. I don't know if I want to end on a somber note, but I'm going to. We have one of our members taught all the way through mid-last year, and then she taught really until she couldn't teach anymore. And then she went out on leave, a year and a half ago went out on leave. This year, in December, she passed away, and that's Kathleen Shells. She spent her entire life giving. She was a social worker, she was a special needs instructor, and she ended her life career giving here at Willits at Blosser. And she was just a beautiful human. And I spoke about her yesterday at our meeting, but I do believe that what she does and did lives on with all of us, because we can take what we learned from her and her kindness and giving and continue to share that with each other and with our students. So thank you all for your time. Thank you. We have a lot of work to do at this district, and I look forward to being a part of the positive solutions. Thank you.
Okay, Superintendent Baker.
All right, thank you. So it's interesting because here today is April 16, and we are I spoke to Conan, about 33 days left of school, about 8 weeks left of school, and it's going to go quick. And here we are, the year went by, and looking at this time of year is a very busy time of year when you think about it. It's the SBAC, state testing, ELA, math, and first I want to say thank you to all the teachers to prepare our students for this difficult test, actually, when you think about it, is to meet all the state standards. At the same time, there's a lot of things going to be happening for the next few days, for the next 33 days. I know there's field trips, there's prom. I'm hearing also 8th grade school dance and open house. I was asked the high school to barbecue for the open house. Yes, I would do it. So I'm happy to do that. And so we're in Hebron, and it's going to be great. So great things happening down the road here to finish the school year on a positive note for our students. With that here, looking at all the sports and that occurred this school year and also now, it's great to see that where we are. And all students are proud. The students are motivated, and our students are very, this is what they're here for. And sports is a great thing that for them, and so we are doing well, and we're very happy to see that. And thank you for the great coaches as well. Mr. Bowles, thank you for being a great coach as well for the wrestling. So we have great coaches, and Chris as well, so thank you. The arts, I mean, I love arts. That's my secret there. I do paint sometimes on the side, but I'm a horrible painter, so don't see my paint, but it changes my mind.
Just come take some classes.
I would like to take some classes and acrylic, that's the thing I'm trying to focus on. But, to see the work that the students are doing, and it's amazing. Again, it's another thing that, students are able to do out of schools and to do art. Because everyone have their own different special skills, and they can share to people and people can see it. Either sports, or some people could be like math, or science and arts. So it's great that we're doing that. I want to thank you so much for having this program in place, running very well. Let's see here. Again, I was mentioning, I think Amy did a great job on sending out, working really hard on Rich University. We are partnering with them, a program for our teachers, our staff, and so that at a very low cost to get a bachelor, to get a credential, because when you think about it, it adds up. I don't know if you remember when you went to college, it's expensive. And having something in place to help out our staff to make it cheaper, that's what we have done. And so we're very happy to see that, and we are partnered with them. So thank you, Amy, for doing that leadership for us. The Mean Girls, I was there at the performance, it was a great production, and I don't know how to memorize all those lines. I probably remember 2 lines, I forget the whole thing, but not only memorizing, but acting. The acting came out of their heart, and I saw that. It's like, wow, it was amazing. And not only was amazing, it's how the stairs were built. And I was like looking at it, coming from an engineering background, I was trying to figure out how long did it take you? How did you put all everything together? And it was amazing. And stable and safe, right? There's also all the stuff that comes in place. So the CT program did a great job of putting everything together to make it happen and to make a production like that caliber. So I'm very pleased to see that. It was great. And as well, let's see here. I know from Sherwood, we had the teachers who went to the Lego training done at MCOE. I'm very happy they went there. And even though I love Legos myself on the side, it's still fun. You can still play with it. But, having a STEAM program in place up there, again, is another spark for the students. And Legos, it's things that they can build apart, they can rebuild it, they can do so many things with it. But not only is Legos, but we're talking about science, technology, engineering. Arts is also in the middle in math, because we have STEM programs, but also STEAM program, where we bring the art, because again, like I mentioned to you, the students have different skills out there. And some of them will show, will reveal in the arts. This summer, we're working pretty hard at this time, looking at fees for this summer. And as you know, that we are in the phase of DTNDA, and we're looking at MTSS. So we're looking at the high school and how we're going to provide the whole support. We're going to start with that at the high school level. Working with the administrators there, we're looking at sending teachers, leaders first to start with from the high school to the MTSS training over the summertime in July, and as well as administrators, so that they can learn the depth of academics, instructions, behavior, how to, dealing with challenging behaviors in the classroom, and as well social emotional learning, which is a very important part of teaching daily and is embedded into our curriculum. So this is what we're going to be doing, and I'm very pleased to see about the intervention program that we have in place from, I think we started in November or something like that, and we have Lexia. And so I'm very pleased that there is improvement made. It was hard work, and the teachers put everything they could to create, using Lexia and providing good, strong lessons to our students, and here we are, improvements made, and kids are learning, and they are climbing up, and this is great for our district, for our students, and again, we're talking about confidence, right? Our kids, when they go to the next level, they want to feel confident. They say, you know what, I can do that. I can read that level. I can do that math. I can sit down and write that with a feeling like, no, I can't. So we want to teach the students that I can do it. And we are going to be, we're working hard to make this program to be strong in place this year and next year. So I'm very pleased to see that. Let's see here. Beside that, I would say, I want to thank everyone for all the hard work you're doing. 33 days down, I know that, it's going to come down quickly. And summer is just around the corner. Hopefully, you're also going to be looking at spending some relaxing time, because, you know, you're working hard the whole year, and thank you so much, and have a great evening.
So now we move on to public comments. I have one card, so Catherine McKay.
Don't worry about the timer, it's short time. Thank you, Board of Trustees and Superintendent, and my fellow colleagues. This evening, we heard about the growth of our students, of our BGMS students. The programs are incredibly helpful, but it comes down to that human component. Our teachers and our staff, and I include all of our staff. Okay? My dad was a 38-year, tenured teacher, and when I decided to go into education, he reminded me, you are not the only person there that impacts those kids. The bus drivers, our cafeteria staff, our custodians, our paras, everyone, our groundskeepers, everyone that comes in contact with our students make an impact. That being said, our students are not widgets. We don't produce a product. We don't produce things. We support the growth and development of these young humans. With that said, provide that COLA so that those valuable human elements continue. Thank you.
Okay, so we're moving on to the consent agenda, because there's no, unless there's other public comments that I'm not aware of. No, we're good? Okay. So we're moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda has been amended by moving item 6, consideration measure I bond building fund audit report, to next month. So the consent agenda now involves items 1 through 5.
Is it something that can be done, that we make a change to that? Since it was not changing pretty good, can I take it back? I recently learned that this was for last year, not this one, which accounts for how come I can't find $130,000 that was spent, but didn't show up on the, on the warrants. And it also accounts for why the starting balance was so much different than what I expected in the paperwork I had. And now it's, thank you very much, Jenny, it's within like $15,000 of what is, $15,000 I haven't found, but that doesn't bother me near as much as over $100,000. And so we no longer need to pull that. I just never had an opportunity to, I read it for the wrong year, and I didn't have an opportunity to fix it until, I don't know, 20 or whatever minutes ago.
So can we do that? Can we
unamended?
We already did approval of the agenda at the beginning, so I
Oh, so
think
it's too late?
It's too late, yeah, because we did
Oh.
a change, and so it'll be next month.
Okay, well, whatever homework was assigned, because I don't remember all of it except one piece I was gonna take care of, is not homework anymore.
Right.
I know. I don't mess up, who can you depend on?
So do I hear, are there any, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
Okay, I move that we accept the consent agenda as amended.
I second.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from any board member? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, then we're on to action items. Consideration of resolution 2025 slash 26-11, section 125, flexible fringe benefit plan. And, I believe, do I have to read this whole thing, Jenny? Since it's a resolution,
I was taking notes. Mr. Baker?
Yes.
yes, okay. So I'm reading the resolution. Resolution to adopt a section 125 flexible fringe benefits plan number 501. At the meeting of the Board of Education of Employer held on April 16th, 2026, the following motion was made by, and we'll determine that here in a second. I move that the Board of Education adopt a section 125 flexible fringe benefits plan for the employees of Willits Unified School District to be effective on July 1st, 2026. And then it goes on to say this motion was seconded by, and we'll fill that in when that's determined, and passed, and we'll determine that. So, are there any comments or questions in regards, from the board, in regards to this item?
Yeah, I didn't understand it well at all.
Need a
So
motion.
can you kind of, didn't she make a motion?
No, just.
I'm sorry, just
I'll
questions.
explain it once there's a motion.
Oh, okay, I was,
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve the action item as presented?
I move that we accept the action item as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. Do any board members have comments or questions?
I didn't understand.
So we currently and historically have offered a Flex 125 plan. The current managers of that are Aero Benefits, who are involved with Staywell, and due to the dissolution of Staywell, Aero does not want to work with us anymore, so we're moving to American Fidelity. Part of their onboard, there's no cost to the district. It does offer a lot of benefits for even more than what we currently have now. Part of their process requires a board resolution, and because it's been so long since we've started that process, we weren't sure that we had one in place, so we're just getting this in place so we can move on with American Fidelity.
They'll do the same thing that
We'll do
before
the
you
same
put
thing
them in the
and
second
more.
one of these.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right then.
You have to do a roll call since it's a resolution?
I'm sorry, what?
You have to do a roll call since it's a resolution?
Okay, so you're right, thank you very much. April?
Aye.
Myself,
Yes.
aye. David?
Aye.
All, aye. Okay, thank you. D is consideration of the 2026-2027 voting representative and voting alternates for the Mendocino Lake Adult and Career Education Consortium. So do I hear a motion to approve the action item as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Do I hear a second? Okay. Are there any comments or questions in regards to that item? Okay, so all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay. Okay, consideration of school plans for achievement. So this is Bethel Grove Middle School, since we didn't have it last month, but we approved the others last month. So this is Bethel Grove. So do I hear a motion to approve the action item as presented? questions or comments from the board?
I'm interested in mostly, you know how in the contract, there is in the union contract for the teachers, there's the whole idea of staff-based decisions and things like that. Was that pretty much how this came into play? Or was this something that the administration needed to write up and then teachers looked it over and said, oh, okay, and we're finished?
So, Paul, I can answer that.
Oh, okay.
So they have a school site council. The school site council is like a site-based decision making, where they have, it's consisting of teachers, admin, parents, so yes.
Okay, then, I'm pretty familiar now with Blosser Lanes. It must have been done the same way, basically.
It should be done the same way.
They follow it.
Yeah,
you know.
it should be
Oh,
done the
okay,
same way.
okay.